Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brilliant chess battle packed with tactics, strategy and surprises. Let's dive right in. Wesley So pushes pawn to d4, seizing central space and forcing the opening battle lines with calm, purposeful force. John Daniel Bryant responds nf6, developing a knight aggressively to challenge Wesley's center and aim for quick counterplay. Wesley So advances pawn to c4, reinforcing the center and signaling intent to expand on the queen side with pressing tempo. John Daniel Bryant strikes with c5, contesting the d4 pawn and opening sharp pawn tension to provoke weaknesses. Wesley So thrusts d5, driving past pawns to cramp black and creating a wedge that chokes Bryant's central control. John Daniel Bryant replies e6, preparing to undermine the d5 pawn and build a solid pawn chain for resilience. Wesley So develops nc3, bringing a knight to support d5 and increase pressure on Bryant's central and queenside squares. John Daniel Bryant captures x5, opening the e-file and exchanging central tension to free his pieces for activity. Wesley So recaptures cx5, keeping a strong pawn on d5 and maintaining spatial advantage, while opening lines for his bishops. John Daniel Bryant plays z6, solidifying the center and preparing to contest Wesley's advanced pawn structure with measured defense. Wesley So develops nf3, continuing simple harmonious play, connecting pieces, and readying kingside safety with energetic control. John Daniel Bryant fianchettos with g6, planning a kingside fianchetto to bolster dark squares and counter Wesley's central hold. Wesley So places bf4, activating the bishop aggressively to target Bryant's queenside and eye the weak 7 square. John Daniel Bryant responds big e7, finishing the fianchetto and putting steady pressure along the long diagonal toward the center. Wesley So surprises with k4, the queen check harassing black and probing for tactical targets in Bryant's camp. John Daniel Bryant blocks bd, developing a piece, while parrying the check and trying to keep the queen's menace contained. Wesley So retreats qb3, keeping pressure on b7 and d5, prowling like a predator above Bryant's slightly exposed position. John Daniel Bryant answers qau7, centralizing the queen to defend key squares and prepare for potential exchanges. Wesley So pushes e4, expanding the center boldly and mobilizing his forces for a full-scale middle-game onslaught. John Daniel Bryant castles, tucking his king safely while connecting rooks and committing to a dynamic middle game. Wesley So plays ndt2, redeploying the knight to strengthen center control and prepare for flexible jumps toward critical squares. John Daniel Bryant swings nh5, an aggressive knight hop, aiming at e4 and trying to provoke weaknesses around Wesley's bishop. Wesley So develops b3, centralizing the bishop to support d4 and prepare tactical motives against Bryant's kingside. John Daniel Bryant strikes 5, an ambitious pawn thrust to challenge Wesley's center and unbalance the position tactically. Wesley So captures x5, opening lines and regaining material, while exposing Bryant's kingside structure to immediate threats. John Daniel Bryant replies b at cf5, recapturing with the bishop and keeping active piece play while contesting central light squares. Wesley So retreats b2, calmly repositioning the bishop and preparing to castle while keeping harmony among his pieces. John Daniel Bryant maneuvers nf6, recentering the knight to shore up defenses and prepare for central or kingside actions. Wesley So castles, completing development, ensuring king's safety and signaling readiness to bring heavy pieces into the fight. John Daniel Bryant plays a6, modestly preventing nb5 and creating luft while preparing potential queenside expansion. Wesley So advances a4, sizing space on the queenside and testing Bryant's pawn structure with aggressive intent. John Daniel Bryant brings nbd7, developing to reinforce e5 and c5 squares while coordinating knights for defense and counterplay. Wesley So repositions nc4, aiming his knight at b6 and d6 squares to harass black's position and increase tactical threats. John Daniel Bryant lifts rfs7, oddly protective, moving his rook to an active defensive file anticipating pressure on the 7th rank. Wesley So places e4, activating his bishop to pressure black's queenside and coordinate threats with rooks and queen. John Daniel Bryant replies n8, rerouting the knight toward defensive duty and eyeing f6 and z6 reoccupation. Wesley So slides bg3, keeping the bishop on the long diagonal and provoking weaknesses while maintaining kingside harmony. John Daniel Bryant plays re7, centralizing a rook to support e-file stability and prepare for potential counterblows. Wesley So maneuvers n3, consolidating knight positions and preparing to leap into the enemy camp with menacing intent. John Daniel Bryant answers n5, placing a knight deep into Wesley's territory to challenge central control and trade pieces. Wesley So captures f5, a sharp tactical blow taking a knight and ripping open Bryant's kingside coordination. John Daniel Bryant recaptures gsf5, opening the g-file, but leaving his king slightly more exposed in a risky structure. Wesley So retreats qc2, centralizing the queen to target g6, and prepare coordinated threats against Bryant's fragile king position. John Daniel Bryant plays key7, attempting consolidation and defense while preparing to contest critical central files. d8. Wesley So pushes forward, charging forward to pry open lines and intensify pressure on Bryant's weakened kingside fabric. John Daniel Bryant replies a6, repositioning the knight to block lines and shield the king from Wesley's mounting assault. Wesley So develops bd3, pointing the bishop at black's king and creating lethal-looking batteries with rooks and queen. John Daniel Bryant checks bd4e, diving into a forcing sequence to disrupt Wesley's coordination and complicate the tension. Wesley So sidesteps corner, tucking his king away while keeping the attack simmering and avoiding tactical shots. John Daniel Bryant retreats c7, regrouping his knight defensively and trying to shore up holes around his monarch. Wesley So reroutes n2, bringing a knight to support central advances and prepare for decisive infiltration. John Daniel Bryant places bf6, getting a bishop into play to guard key squares and contest Wesley's mounting threats. Wesley So calmly plays b1, repositioning a bishop defensively while keeping Latin attacking ideas ready to ignite. John Daniel Bryant brings Bryant, piling rooks on e-file and increasing tension, while seeking counterplay against Wesley's center. Wesley So jumps n3, re-aiming his knight toward vital squares, and ramping up the tempo for a kingside breakthrough. John Daniel Bryant shuffles nh4, an aggressive knight sortie threatening forks, and trying to provoke weaknesses around Wesley's camp. Wesley So storms a5, pushing the queenside pawn to punch open lines and distract Bryant from his kingside fortress. John Daniel Bryant repositions r-fight, trying to consolidate the back rank and prepare active defense along the f-file. Wesley So plays r-cone, bringing a rook to the open file to increase pressure and coordinate with his heavy pieces. John Daniel Bryant tucks qd8, retreating the queen to steady defense and keep tactical resources available for counterattacks. Wesley So expands b4, striking on the queenside to open files and create immediate concrete threats against Bryant's structure. John Daniel Bryant sacrifices Ariccione, a sharp tactical exchange aiming to rip apart Wesley's coordination and complicate the position. Wesley So recaptures Rfdiccione, accepting the exchange and maintaining material balance while keeping initiative and rook activity. John Daniel Bryant replies cxb4, capturing on b4 to pry open files and create passed pawns in the queen wing. Wesley So centralizes qe7, planting his queen deep in black's camp to menace pawns and coordinate heavy threats. John Daniel Bryant maneuvers anz, attempting to reroute pieces to defensive posts and blunt Wesley's incisive queen. Wesley So slides r4, lifting a rook into action to support attacks and prepare decisive infiltration into black's position. John Daniel Bryant answers e7, consolidating and aiming to eliminate attackers, though the defensive task looks grim. Wesley So captures qxb7, greedily winning a pawn, while opening lines and increasing pressure on Bryant's increasingly naked king. John Daniel Bryant replies qx5, grabbing material back and counter-striking, but his king's defense further unravels. Wesley So charges rc7, doubling down with rooks to invade 7th rank and squeeze Bryant's last defenses mercilessly. John Daniel Bryant slides k3, trying to counterattack and harass White's back rank while buying time amid chaos. Wesley So brings rf3, shifting heavy pieces to intensify the assault and prepare decisive penetration toward Bryant's monarch. John Daniel Bryant thrusts b3, pushing a passed pawn dangerously close to promotion hopes and creating practical counterplay. Wesley So retreats b1, rehoming his bishop to guard key dark squares while keeping attacking batteries flexible and ready. John Daniel Bryant pushes k1, invading with the queen to create threats, but his coordination remains precarious and overextended. Wesley So captures rxb3, eliminating the dangerous passed pawn while opening ranks and turning the tide toward decisive domination. John Daniel Bryant replies k1, probing with the queen for counterchecks, but lacking sufficient force to stave off doom. Wesley So calmly takes qx6, scooping more material and simplifying into a winning ending with devastating piece placement. John Daniel Bryant shuffles kite, a last-ditch sidestep hoping to survive, but his position is collapsing under Wesley's pressure. Wesley So finishes with rcb7, a crushing invasion on the 7th rank that seals Bryant's fate and forces resignation. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.